and I think that's it. I think we are live. Yes, I believe we are. Cool. So here we are on YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
And let's play some games. I've outpaced Ben a little bit on
Yeah,
this one
yeah.
because of the dinosaur.
I don't remember anything about anything.
It's odd that there are two dinosaur bosses.
Mm.
There's the skeleton dinosaur from the Earth area, and then the fire dinosaur from the fire area, right?
Hmm. Hmm. In a game that isn't particularly dinosaur themed.
Yes, yes. It's not
Yeah.
like we're playing Joe and Mac here.
Yeah.
Um, so, nonetheless, we've reached the end of the fire area,
Yes.
and I believe you are headed back to the
Back
focus tower
to Focus Tower. I think so. That sounds right.
to use your new wind coin
Oh, this win coin's been burning a hole
or
in my
fire coin.
pocket.
I don't remember the order. I think it's the fire coin, but whatever it
Yeah.
is, it's the next.
Look, I've got a coin and I gotta
It's
spend
gonna
it. And the
fit into
fire
some
coin burning
door.
a hole in my pocket certainly thematically makes more sense than a wind coin. Uh,
Yeah, there's a
so
little bit of like trekking around in this part of the game.
just sort of like
You have to go like go to.
retreading
That's right. You have to
old steps.
go to a couple different places you've been before.
Oh, there. Oh, but there's my buddy. There's my there's my guy who tells me what I need to do.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Great. And now I'm gonna shrug my shoulders again. Cool. Okay. I'm heading to Windia and I'm looking for Captain Mac's ship. There's some stairs. There's a couple of different places I can go. Ooh, what's this? Rope bridge. Uh,
Did you go down? There's a staircase in there you should explore. Yeah.
yeah. Joe, don't worry. I'm gonna Brett first search style.
Yes.
You know, we identify all of the possible nodes that exist, and then we specifically visit the one whose heuristic function is most likely to lead to a treasure chest.
That's right. That's what the game is all about. It's about accumulating treasure chests because everything is in treasure chests, and that's all. That's the only place things are.
This is a very okay. I am giddy. I am excited to find out what's going to be inside of here. I predict it's going to be a new magic spell.
Indeed,
Oh,
it is. It is the wind spell.
yes. And it makes sense. I'm going to wind land, so I am now one with the element.
It seems like it would make a little more sense to get the wind spell in the wind area, but we won't quibble.
Yeah. Well, I'm heading to the wind area, right? But yeah, like the focus tower is not. It's sort of like element agnostic. The focus tower is. Oh. What?
Ruben has
Uh,
gone. It's a bridge too far for Ruben, I believe.
oh no! Oh no! Well, clearly Ruben must have loosened that pickle jar for me, because otherwise that would be pretty embarrassing on Ruben's part.
A single mummy.
Okay, he's fine.
He's fine.
He's okay. He's okay.
And you
Why
get
look at that?
Tristram's fun little musical sting.
Nice. Cool. You know, when one friend leaves, another joins. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's GP. Also, this is called a rope bridge, but really it's more,
Of a vine.
you know, logs and vines.
The logs, it's not clear how they're suspended.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And it does look like there's some type of like rope or other things combining them together. Um,
Yep. And here you are.
I also that mummy is the first time, the only time in the game where the monsters have like been the aggressors, right? Like in every other instance, the monsters are just kind of like hanging out in their own place, and like we're coming into their neighborhoods and like approaching them and attacking them.
That's true. I mean, in many cases, because they have, stolen or taken control over something, right? The bosses in particular, right?
Sure. The monsters are not necessarily native to the environments in which they are. Yeah. Yes. Joe,
Yes.
I love this. Don't exactly know what it means.
Oh, the
but
left-facing arrow.
This is my jam. Yeah.
It's very Legend of Zelda.
Uh-huh.
But it's weird
Uh-huh.
because that's the exit to the area. That's like where you came in from, right?
Yeah. So it's like, is it telling me that there's something that I missed? Is it telling me that I'm gonna have to go back there someday?
I have
Like,
a hypothesis.
it like it makes me think I'm gonna get a shovel. Like it makes me, which I guess is again very Legend of Zelda-y. It makes me think I'm gonna be able to like dig down
At
there.
the tip of the arrow.
Or
I
like
think,
I have bombs. I can like
I think
plant-
it is this like outdoor dungeon, this like forest dungeon, is very samey, like as you explore through it, and I think
Mhm.
that is just a visual cue that the entrance is over there when you need to leave.
Interesting.
That's my belief.
Interesting.
As you can see, this
And
one
then-
has
and
like a
then
very
likewise,
open-ended dungeon,
like-
right?
This lone tree. Surely there must be something wonderful waiting for me underneath it. Ah, there is.
Level design,
I
right?
thought I was going to be disappointed. Okay.
And it was all right.
What's that?
It was okay. The thing.
Okay. I mean, yeah. It turns out that it was something that I could not immediately use, so perhaps I am marginally disappointed. Um,
Yeah, it's an annoying area because there's a lot of sort of status effect monsters,
mhm. But I believe I'm strong against paralysis, thanks to some piece of equipment, some armor and helmet that I've picked up. Ooh. The ghost just died from a status helmet. But I guess going back to the mummy like attacking us,
Sure.
like I'm intrigued by it because it's like, yes, the elements are out of alignment, and a hero has been prophesied to save the world, and perhaps that hero is us, and so sure, the forces of evil have been active agents against the world, and we are diametrically opposed to them. But I feel like that mummy moment felt different to me because that's the first moment so far that feels like the monsters have like identified us or view us as like something to be stopped. You know,
Hmm.
it's like, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, right? Like the mummy just said, "Ha, got you," and maybe the monsters have been saying, "Ha, got you" to like all of the native flora and fauna that they've been like taking over. Like maybe that's just the general attitude and sentiment that they have as they're wreaking havoc. So again, like I might be giving that mummy, more credit than he deserves, but I feel like there's a little bit of an energy of like, oh, the mummy is excited because he knows that we're the hero of prophecy, and he's like excited because he's like gonna get a promotion because he's
Sure.
gonna, stop us. Like he knows what a big deal we are, and he's trying to whatever prevent us. And I like that. Like that makes me feel like, oh, my exploits are being noticed not only by all of the townspeople that I'm helping, but also by the forces that I'm trying to thwart, and therefore they're redoubling their efforts to not only just generically whatever take over the world, but specifically like attack me and stop me.
Ah, right, sure. I see that. I get that. I think the other kind of surprise was chopping down the like bad tree in the level forest when Kaylee gets poisoned by the minotaur that's hiding inside. I think that would be the other
Ah,
like, oh, or the ha got you moment of the early part of the game.
yes. And I remember her getting poisoned, but I did not remember the precise circumstances under which it happened. Yes, that does sound. That does sound
But it's
like
rare.
something.
It's quite uncommon in this game.
Oh,
Yeah, considering how much we cycle through companions in this game, um, they all come off pretty much scot-free. Like nobody. I mean, Kaylee's poisoned for a while, but eventually she's fine.
yes.
Phoebe's all right. She just gets bored. Ruben falls down a hole, but he's okay.
Which we find out
Yeah,
immediately.
and Tristam is like he's just doing his own thing. Um, so it's a bit different vibe, right? If you think about like Final Fantasy IV, people are dropping like flies in the middle part of the game.
Absolutely, like there's several brave sacrifices.
Almost to comedic effect eventually, I feel. Right, it's like there's only so many times that can be heavy, but the first time it's used, I mean, like, well, even before the brave sacrifices, there's also just like random stuff that happens that feels bad, right?
Like mind controlling and
But before you know about the mind control, you think he just like um in the like that Kane is lost in the earthquake, right?
yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and likewise, you think that Yang and Rosa and everybody have like fallen off the boat, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh no,
yes.
Rosa
Before you
gets
get to the
captured,
city.
right? But Rydia falls off the boat, and Edward falls off the boat.
Yes.
Um, and there isn't yet the precedent, right? That like you'll see them again and they'll be fine, or
Yeah.
if not fine, at least like alive. But then, and I think that the like Palam and Poram sacrifice is very effective.
Yeah,
Especially,
I would say for me, if you told me that there's only one sacrifice in Final Fantasy IV, that is the moment that my mind would go to. Um, 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 and also and you know I think we're not worrying too much about spoilers on the show, but the vast majority of the sacrifices um can be undone, right?
It depends on the version of the game, right? But
Oh,
yes, essentially yes.
is
Like,
that is I'm is you're much more knowledgeable about the different versions than I am. So I
let me think about it for a second. So it depends on what you mean by like undoable. So there's like, I think one of the things that makes Pelham and Purim turning themselves to stone so effective is that you have items that can recover stone, and you have the
yes.
option to try to use them on their like statues, right? There's the
Yes.
interact with this thing
Y-
menu is available for them.
yes.
But oh, they did it of their own volition, and so there's nothing to be done.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was like very shocking. The other sacrifices that come to mind is like Sid uh, dropping the bombs to seal up the tunnel to the underworld.
Yes.
But he's
Yes.
fine.
Yep.
Whatever. Like, it's important for the story that he be fine.
Uh-huh.
So we find out later he's okay. That's like the least satisfying, I think, of all of them.
Yeah.
Yang, for some reason, has to sacrifice himself to stop the cannon from the tower firing on the dwarfs. I'm not exactly sure what the story is behind that or why that is necessary, but he does it anyway. And we find out later that he is being cared for by the sylphs, the
Yes.
summoned monsters.
But that's
but we can't.
but that's like optional content, right? Like you
Yes.
don't have to like encounter that.
Yeah, and we don't, in fact. He wakes up when you like. It's a lot of backtracking, but you go to the sylphs, you see that he's asleep there. You go to his wife in Fabul,
Yeah,
and then you
he
come
gives a
back
frying
and you
pan, yeah.
hit him with a frying pan, and he's awake again, but he still can't leave. Right? He doesn't.
Yes.
He doesn't rejoin your party or anything.
Yeah. But you feel good that you have
a little side
help-
quest, and
that-
you get
that he's doing okay
and you get
helping you.
the spoon, or the cleaver, as it is in Japan, I believe.
Oh. Okay, I didn't remember that.
That's the reward, sort of, for that piece of the quest.
Gotcha.
The throwing weapon that does 4 nines of damage to whatever you throw it at. Yes.
Ah.
But only once.
Yes.
And then in the 3D remake, you get the ability to like reform your party at various points. I don't think it's only in the post game, but it might only be in the post game. And in that version, it is possible to, get Yang back and get like whoever, all the different kind of people. And and even Palam and Poram, it's possible to like get them back in your team. So in the original game, those two are saved by the Elder, just so that they can show up in the final battle, doing the like giving you strength or whatever. But yeah, also it turns out also in Final Fantasy IV, everybody gets off scot-free. But I feel like that weakens it a fair bit,
Yeah. Yeah. Does Tella?
Oh no, he stays
survive?
dead. He stays dead. That's a good point. I
Okay.
forgot about Tella and Medio.
Yeah.
No, he's a goner.
He's a goner.
That's a good point. That actually is the first of the. No, the I guess this. That sacrifice happens before you return to Bear. After you return to Baron, I believe. That's the one that happens in the tower after you get the Earth Crystal, I believe. when Kane like meets you on the airship and he's like, "Oh, like nice dress, Cecil." Um, do you remember that exchange? It's a bit out of place.
Earth crystal.
At Troya, the city of the matriarchal society, that you find. You need the black chocobo to get to the dark elves.
Okay.
Cave.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember that.
And then through the dark elf cave, you've got the you have to take off all of your metallic equipment.
Yes.
Yeah. And then because the point was that you needed to get the crystal for the bad guys in that moment, because they had Rosa as hostage.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Oh, did you get the? Yeah, you got the big axe. Good.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to go to.
Aquaria, I think.
Yes, that's right. That's where Kaylee is right now. I'm moderately lost in the giant tree. I have some kind of thing I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not sure
Oh, well,
how to do it.
I'm glad. I'm grateful that you're chatting with me.
Oh, okay. I looked it up. It's one of these video game BS things. You just have to use the right tool, I guess.
Where do I think Haley would be? Maybe visiting a house. Hello? Hello? I am happy with the
Remember,
steel
her
house.
house has another entrance through the water.
Oh, wow.
You got to go in under her house.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just taking my sweet time. Oh, Spencer's place. Is this?
Yeah, you're in the right area. Just got to get to Spencer. There's a lot about this game that doesn't really make a lot of sense as it's written. Just like, here, let's do this. Okay. Here's
Yeah,
this.
it's like he loves hunting for treasure, but you know what? He's also very generous.
Yeah, I do think that one of the sort of writing weaknesses of this game is just how everything is presented at the moment when it's convenient, right? there's no there isn't a lot of like mystery about why you're getting something or when you're getting something.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's just like, oh, you're gonna need this thing. Here it is.
Yeah, there's no rat tail moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
So I noticed something.
Yes.
When you're chopping stuff, if you chop to the left, it's panned, the sound effect is panned left. And if you chop to the right, the sound effect is panned right.
Oh.
If you chop straight, up or down, it's in the center. I did not know that until today.
That's cool.
It's like an interesting little attention to detail moment.
It's all about that polish.
So now, yeah, Kaylee's over there.
Okay. Hey there. You're well. What, did you hear about my dad? Yeah, Spencer told me. He said I should see Otto in Windia, and I was hoping you'd come too. Okay.
It's just, everything is just so convenient,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So okay, and I'm not necessarily super trying to defend the writing here. I agree with you. It's extremely convenient. But like I would maybe posit that something that has happened in modern day games is the opposite, where everything is just inconvenient for inconvenience's sake.
Like
things
padded
are maybe overly bloated or padded out, where it's like, oh well, I can't join you because there's this problem that I'm facing that you need to like help me out with first. And it's like, I think it's like a fine line of like, oh cool, this problem is demonstrating that you aren't just some tool that exists to help me, and that you lead a rich inner life that I am being exposed to, and through my actions I am helping you with your life, and in so doing help developing the bonds between us. Like, to some extent that could be a good thing, but I also think, it oftentimes the alive forest. I didn't appreciate the name before. It ends up feeling just like, a quest for quest's sake.
That's right. I guess what I'm thinking about is more in the area of like plot triggers or magical items or things like that, where maybe it's just from having played a lot of games.
Yeah.
Like that feeling of oh, okay, like I got the arrow spell, that probably means everything here is going to be weak against wind or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like a clue,
yes.
But it's also a cliche.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's not clear if that's like good or bad to me.
Sure.
But it is familiar.
I guess, and I don't know if this is actually coming from like an informed place. Like I don't know if this is actually real or not, or if it's just a made up association in my head. But I feel that like whatever the expected video game procedure is, I'm in the fire land. I learn the fire spell in the fire land because that's where fire spells come from. the fire spell was not particularly good in the Fireland because everyone around me is
Right.
made of flames, and so they're immune or resistant or whatever to it. But now I have the nice fire spell, and so now when I revisit other places or when I go to the Iceland someday, I'm now sort of like set
Right.
up for future
And it's
success.
like that has almost the opposite problem, right? It's like you get a new thing, but it's kind of useless
Yes. Yeah.
until later.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
This is something where, like, I know I complained about getting things like at the exact moment when they're convenient, but I actually think that Legend of Zelda games since Link to the Past do this like very well.
The like the idea of
Like there's a dungeon and the dungeon has an item and you know that like that item is the key to that dungeon and also
Yes.
like will show up in future dungeons. Right?
yes.
It becomes almost like an ability you have. I think that that's part of why it's a little wonky in this game is because once you get, say, the Giant's Axe, there's no reason to use the Steel Axe anymore.
Yeah. As opposed to it being another tool in your toolkit, it
That's
has
right.
now
It's just
rendered
collecting dust.
obsolete a previous tool.
Yeah. Just as a way to like make a number go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the spells are kind of similar. Like a lot of spells in games are just like the same thing but with different numbers.
Yeah.
In this game,
Yes.
in particular, all of the attack spells are like the same thing but with different numbers. Like that are, so weak against this or strong against this or whatever. But there isn't a lot of like, there aren't many choices to be made. It's like, oh, do I use this one against this guy or this one? And just you know which one is weak against and use that one.
Yeah. There's a saddle point or whatever.
Yeah.
There's like an optimal. And it's very clear. Like it's simple to see what the optimal.
Right. Like, this guy is like literally made out of fire, so I should use like an ice spell. Yeah.
I feel like, and this is just like a very specific example, but is ultimately not different from what you're describing. But I feel that like a moment that exists in a lot of games like this is, it's like a magic trick that only works once. But the like, oh, I wonder if I cast the healing spell against the undead monster, if this is one of those games where that heals the monster, or if this is one of those games where that actually hurts the monster, and then that becomes like I'm doing this and I'm taking a gamble and I don't exactly know what the outcome is going to be the first time I do it, and now I've learned and now I know. And now I know if it's weak or not. And I already said that it was the same, and I suppose it's further the same in that occasionally you're facing monsters that you have like a better, like based on the semiotics of the monster, you have a better intuitive sense as to like, I have a feeling this spell's going to be good. But then there's other monsters like this mummy, and it's like, well, I don't know necessarily if fire is going to be good against the mummy, or if healing, or if whatever.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
so there's a little bit of like experimentation the first time you find a new monster, I suppose.
And in this kind of game, it's not like there's a bunch of different interactions. It's just like hurting, right? It's not like, in some games, like, oh, you hit the mummy with the fire spell and it turns into this other kind of monster, like a skeleton or something, right?
Sure, yeah.
And maybe skeletons are easier for you to beat with what you have available. These kinds of things are possible.
In the medium of video games, these things are possible. Yeah. It is interesting because there's like the different sprites based on their like health levels, which is something that I would say is relatively uncommon in games. But those different sprites, at least on a surface level representation, don't appear to actually like affect.
No, it doesn't like change their attack patterns or anything like that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a number of bosses in Final Fantasy games, and Final Fantasy for Final Fantasy VI or whatever, where their behavior is based on like, oh, are all their sidekicks defeated, or
Yes.
whatever it is, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's tricky because it's kind of interesting, right, when a game makes every fight have that same kind of texture as a boss fight, but it also is, I think it reduces the impact a lot of those boss fights, because now like every fight is like a little puzzle. There was a game, a ROM hack of Final Fantasy VI called Final Fantasy VI T Edition, named for the creator of the hack.
Okay.
And it did a lot with the enemy scripting, like the boss scripting especially, to change their behaviors in different circumstances.
Interesting.
So they would respond to like how many people you had in your party, or what kinds of attacks you were using, or things like this.
Cool. Neat.
And so, yeah, it definitely had that feeling of like, more like, Fire Emblem or something, where each battle is like a little puzzle that you need to solve. And that was, it was an interesting play. Although it can get a little fatiguing, right? Like if you have to, if you have to think about something, it's requires effort. And
sure, yeah. And I'm saying, and you're saying that wasn't only the like, that wasn't only the boss encounters. That was just like every random encounter. Had these
it was
like
mostly the boss
elements?
encounters.
Okay.
Although there were some random encounters that were, more substantial.
So I'm thinking like in just as a point of reference, and going back to whatever Final Fantasy IV, when you're going through that first like mist cave to Mysidia, you fight the mist dragon, and there are like moments when like Kain has to like jump to make it like change forms.
You have to wait until it changes forms before you can attack it again.
Oh, okay.
The jumping doesn't. Valvalis, Barbaricia, in The Fiend of Wind, has that tornado thing.
Yes.
That's the one where you need to jump to.
Is that what I'm thinking of? I'm remembering the little like line of dialogue along the top that says like, Kain, jump! Like your party is like telling Kain to jump / telling you, the player, to jump. And
yeah, that's in the Barbaricia fight.
No!
Yeah.
Whoa! Is there
The Mist
a
Dragon
different line of dialogue in the dragon one?
It's like, it's similar to the Welk fight, the Lightning Welk fight in FF6. It's like, don't do that.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Because it's, storing up lightning in its shell when it's attacked. The Mist Dragon's the same way. It's like when it turns into mist, it's like you can't attack it until it reforms.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, the Barbaricia fight, the Fiend of Wind, that's the one where you
Where it says Kain jump.
yeah, where you have to jump to break the tornado,
Fascinating.
the hair tornado.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get. Oh, here it is. I found my way out. Oh yeah, so the thing that I didn't figure out in this dungeon, Ben,
Yes.
is that when there are little closed tree mouths that you want to go through, you have to poke them with your sword.
Ah.
There's no reason to expect that this will do it, but that's what you have to do.
It doesn't. There's no line of dialogue that's
No.
like, "Oh, I think I see a button back there."
Just you have to remember that that's a thing in this game, is poking stuff with your sword.
Just kind of like going down the list of like, what's every way that I can interact with my environment.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
This is one of those things that's kind of missing from modern games, and I'm happy for it. Where there are hidden passages that are just you just kind of have to bump around in the dark inside of a
Yes.
wall. I don't love it, you know. Feels a
Well,
little.
oh wait, you don't love it.
No, I don't think I do, because there's no. It's easy to miss,
Yes.
and it doesn't feel very satisfying to move around in that space, you know?
Yeah. I I I mean, I now I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, are you crazy? I love things like that. But I do think the like discrete nature of like a tile game, like a grid game like this, like makes it kind of fun because it's like the amount of choices that you have on any given tile is like very limited. So it's
Right.
like it's not that hard to like map it out. And also typically there's in the ones that I'm thinking of, there's no like punishment. Like it's not like, oh, you took a wrong turn and now you've
Well, I
injured
mean, I guess
yourself.
there's like random battles, right?
Hmm.
Not in this game.
Sure, but there could be. Yeah. Oh,
Don't go that way.
yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah, so after you're through the live forest, it's, yes, sword. Yes.
Uh-oh. Hmm. Which way to go?
I have a hint if you want a hint.
Sure.
Back where you entered this floor,
Oh yeah.
that little worm guy, to the left of the doorway.
Oh. 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 Oh.
That thing.
Ah.
One of them.
Ah. Thank you. Thank you. I see. I see.
Yeah, so we've been on a big improvement kick lately for Gist, for the platform through which we are playing this game and recording our progress and doing things. Uh, we're very excited to um, have more of these like quality of life kind of features. Um,
It's it's really nice. I got an email about Gist from Eric, and I need to confirm that I want to remain on the mailing list.
yeah, yeah. I hope you do. Um,
And
are you teaching any game classes in the coming you know period of time?
Uh, yes. I'm currently teaching fundamentals of game development, and in the spring I'll be teaching advanced game development, and I'll also be teaching a class called AI in games.
Cool.
So
Um,
if you wanna ever swing on by,
oh, I would love to virtually swing on by.
yeah, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Um, and if you have any need for, say, embedded citations in your syllabus of things happening in games or cool gaming AI moments, you're of course welcome to use just for those kinds of purposes.
Well, I would be honored. And what about for the folks watching at home on YouTube? Is there any way that they can get in on the gist
Uh,
action?
you can email me. You can email me, and I can um, potentially give you access to that. I'll add a little text thing. Um, and make it a reasonable size. It's right there. That's all you gotta do.
Hey! Oh, perfect.
This is mainly intended for like game studies people, but I'm also interested in speedrunners and other game designers and just people who think they may want to share little snippets and moments of games. Um, that's the situation. Um, it's whitelist only right now. We don't want to get on anybody's bad side. Um, but that's the situation. Yeah. We're applying for a new round of funding with the NEH, the U.S. National Endowment for the Humanities, in the coming month or two. So hopefully that will allow us to extend the system even more and make it more like long-term sustainable. That's the goal.
That's extremely cool. Good luck with
Thank
the
you.
proposal.
So I'm here in Windia, and it doesn't disappoint. There's a white noise like wind effect in the background. Um, everybody's a lot of people, their doors are swinging open. Um, People can't climb on the roof anymore like they're used to.
Ah,
Uh, it's
the
a big
world
problem.
is decaying.
Most importantly, the road making machine is stranded up in the mountains. And we get our Chocobo cameo on
Hey,
the wind veins.
whoa.
Got some old people who are just regular old and not kid old.
Ah, mm-hmm.
Lots of Mobius crest symbols here.
Yes.
But the crest itself is buried under Spencer's place. All roads lead back to Spencer's place. It's going to be so important. Oh, there was a. Did you grab the spell that was available in the tree area?
Not yet.
On the. You can backtrack to it after you beat the boss. It's no problem.
Okay.
But there is the meteor spell on the first floor, on the second floor.
Oh, wait, no.
You did get it.
I think I got it. Let
Oh, okay.
me double check. Spell.
Ah, yes, you indeed have it.
Meteor.
You're all set.
Okay, cool.
You've obtained the only important item in the area.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, so the tree dungeon is a little bit tedious, but you're on the right track, and uh, the you'll get to the end
Soon enough.
soon enough. Then there are two other dungeons in Windia, and then I think it's the last boss area after that, I believe.
Wow. We're closing in.
Oh, there might be one other in between. Yeah, but we're close to the end. I think maybe probably 2 more weeks, maybe 3 more weeks.
Okay.
We'll be to the end. We can also stop. If you were feeling impatient and want to change gears, it's totally okay. Not to get to the end of the game.
No, I'm having a great time. Like, I am. We've discussed this on previous sessions, but I am. I, disappointed. I don't know if disappointed is the right word, but like amazed, surprised at how little I remember this game. Like I definitely played it many times as a child, and certainly like I remember there being. I generally remember the companions. Like I generally remember who they were and what their deals were. I generally remembered moving the ice blocks around in that early temple. And I remember in the first area like people being like rendered unnaturally like elderly.
Yeah.
But like old Mac, and the boat, and the focus tower, and the guy on the cloud, who tells you what to do all the time, largely. I remember the battleground system. I remembered that there's like spots on the map where you just fight a bunch of random battles to earn a prize at the end. But yeah,
Oh, you're virtually at the end of the dungeon.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, go straight up once you get those boxes. And then you're basically caught up to me. All I've done is do a couple battlegrounds after
Okay.
that.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
He's weak against wind.
Is he?
That wind spell is finally going to pay off.
You don't say. Battle. Wind.
The skeleton guys are also weak against wind.
Oh.
Well, not
Oh,
if not
why,
weak, at least
Kaylee?
oh well.
Uh-oh.
Status effects. It's just
Uh-oh.
it's that all over again.
Oh, he's weak against wind, but he also uses wind, you say.
I think it might just be that wind is generally well, he's also weak against it, but yeah, with this one you just have to get lucky in the first couple rounds not to be debilitated.
Get sprinkled with doom powder. Heads.
All right. At this point, you have it well in hand. You can heal up. You can use your spells. You've got this.
I think so. I hope so.
I have to go, but
yes,
as always, it's a pleasure, and
Pleasure's mine.
I'll see you next time.
See you next time, Joe.
Bye.
Take care.
Oh,
Bye.
upload your saves.
Yep.
When you're done.
I'll wrap this puppy off and then I'll upload.
All right.
Okay.
See you later.
This puppy / goat / dragon.
Goodbye.
Bye.